Good morning, Deanna.
Good morning.
How are y'all? So y'all can see my screen, correct?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. That's weird. I hit it and it says screen share. Okay. There we go. Okay. So it is 11:01. Get started. Today is November 20th. Here are our numbers for the last week. It'll be fun to see what happens on next Monday. But we've got a pretty substantial dip in active listings. We're definitely gobbling up what's been listed. So we are down in total active listings, but we're up over the same week this time last year. That makes sense. We're up 8%, which is kind of nice heading into the new year. A little bit of optimism on the possibility that we might be seeing some new listings after the holidays as well. So 1,996 total active listings, which is a substantial drop over last week, but still 8% down over last year. 200 new listings in the last 7 days, which is 8% up from last year. 257 pendings. So we are seeing a little dip going into the holidays, not surprising. Although I'm putting one on the under contract today. Super excited about that. Finally. Hi, Mike.
Morning. How are you?
Total sold. Look at that. Right? So we are gobbling up existing inventory and we're gobbling up, what's hitting the market. So there's still quite a few active buyers out there. And I'm not seeing multiple offers. I am seeing some pretty significant properties sitting on market and back on market. So people are not messing around. Buyers are still asking for repairs and assist, and sellers are digging in. So we are seeing a lot come back on the market. We are 12% down over last year in total sold. Let me make this smaller so I can see. Here we are. Average days on market dropped again significantly over last week from 52 to 39. There was only 3 properties in Allegheny County over $1 million, and they were low 1 million, like right at 1 million. Only 3, so significant drop there in Allegheny County on average price. We are seeing a pretty decent dip here in price reductions. So I'm just curious. I have a listing that's probably going to reduce today to just see what that's going to look like. But maybe some people were just waiting it out to see what would happen before Thanksgiving. Little increase here in sales price to list price ratio at 97.13. We have 133 expireds. That'll be interesting to see who scoops those up. And 10 fewer people in West Penn. We have been seeing a little drop here for the last month. It's the first time we've seen a decrease since we've been tracking for the most part, significant. So 4 here, 5 here, and then 10 here. So shouldn't be surprising. 7.75 in interest. Shouldn't be surprising that agents are leaving, right? Maybe they just got their licenses last year. It's been very slim. It's the 80-20 principle, right? 20% of the agents are doing 80% of the business. The Pareto principle. Does anybody have any questions as we're heading into the holiday week? Any thoughts about what they're seeing out there in the market this month?
I'm just kind of curious. Do you see a trend from last year? I know I assume line 78 is last year's. Is that correct?
Say what?
The line 78, was that last year's, or what was that?
No, that's average
That's
over all the numbers. So if I go back up here,
I'm kind of curious.
we're about right here
in the price. Yeah,
let
we saw a dip in the price during the winter months.
Give me just a second. Let me see if I can hide these so that we can.
So yeah, because I'm just looking at the average price and just trying to see what kind of trend we saw from last year to this year.
Let me see if I can do this. Hold on one second. So we can. Okay, so this gives you where the same week last year, we had 2,077 active listings, we're at 1,996. We had 102 new listings that week and 200 this last week. So that's that 8% increase, right? 199 pendings, we're at 257 and we're still, that number doesn't make any sense. I'll take a look at that. I've
Okay.
got it all plinkoed together, so that doesn't make sense. 95 sold, 190. It could also be the way that I've overlapped them. This is not the right week. Hold on one second. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to find the one before it. That's why it's not making sense. This is the one we want.
Yes, I think she basically said it has to
Okay.
be.
That makes sense. There we go.
We can start sending.
So 2160 active listings versus 1996. Can someone mute, please?
One that's done a
Thank you.
setup.
Thank you. 185 listings last year that week of the 20, like Monday, the 21st. So that makes more sense. That's why that wasn't matching. 269 pendings versus 257, 215 sold, 190. That's showing that 12%. Average is pretty close. Look at that, neck and neck for trending on days on market. Look at that, almost pretty close in terms of sales price to list price ratio. Gosh, 150 fewer agents in the MLS. Look at the number of expireds, 51 last year, 133 this year. Let's do this. Let's see. So what we could be trending towards, A is still down. It's still going to be down this week, I think, in active listings, but we're just gobbling up the new stuff that hits the market. There was only 102 new listings the week of Thanksgiving. So we should see a significant drop this week. That's not shocking, right? That's not surprising. People don't want to hit the market this week. 199 pendings last year, 95 solds. So half. So to me, listen, it's trending towards a more balanced market, more days on, more listings hitting the market, but we're still scooping up what's already there. I don't know. I feel like the sellers have to get a dose of reality. Buyers just with these interest rates. That's what everybody asks me. It's like, what do you see with the interest rates? Well, first of all, I don't think we're going to see a bunch of reductions or jacking around with the Fed because we're going into an election year, right? We talked about that. Election years tend to just be, keep it all kosher, just keep it kosher. But you've got the buyers that are dealing with the higher interest rate. And then you've got the sellers that have unrealistic expectations because they still think it's like the big wig sellers market. I just feel like if you are counseling your listings, if you have something coming on the market, either have it pre-appraised and price it right at, or just a smidge below the appraised value, you'll get multiple offers. It'll shoot through the roof because buyers are like, oh, that's a realistic price. Hey, that makes sense. Hey, we can justify this, versus sellers going, oh, I want to ask 600 when I just paid 410 for it 3 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm seeing. A property that my clients are about to go under contract with today, the previous buyer terminated because it was in multiple offers. He went above asking and then saw the truth, which was that it had aging systems. Those were disclosed. And he asked for like a $20,000 price reduction. The seller said no, but they're about to go under contract for more than that of a reduction because they've been sitting on the market another month.
What do you think about this? The average price this year has gone up 265, whereas last year it was 240 or 282 and 248.
I focus on this one a little bit more as the sales price to list price ratio.
Yeah.
97.73, 97.58. We're at 97.13. It's not too bad. It's normal for there to be like a trend going up there, but this is such a crapshoot because I'm only counting Allegheny County, and Allegheny County has, you know, Fox Chapel, Shady Side, Sewickley, Upper St. Clair. You know, we can see some $3-4 million houses, and they're just random. They can drop at any time. This to me is a better number to be watching versus average price. Average price, I don't focus on as much when I'm looking at pricing and price reductions. I look at this number. And I've said that in this call before. And I always use Churchill as an example. But like if you're looking at Churchill to list a property, 4-bedroom, whatever, I would go in the last 365 days. I would look at the sold 4-bedroom, 2 baths, exactly what I'm about to list. And I will look at this number. And if it's 97.13, and my clients are like realistic, and they're like, okay, we'd like to sell it for 400. I say to them, would you be willing to reduce it 2.7%? Do you get me? Like the difference between the 97.13, that's 2.8, something like that. If you reduce that 400,000 by 2.8%, you're in the sweet spot, because the market's already telling you you're 2%-ish off here, almost 3% off anyway, in the sales price versus list price ratio. If you can find that sweet spot of where the ratio is, that's when it hits. And that's oftentimes where you're going to see multiple offers. That's my opinion. And when I actually, the last few listings that I've had in the high end range, 700,000-800,000, I've been asking my clients to pre-appraise, pay the $500 to have it pre-appraised. That helps you market the house. You know, you can tell buyers agents, look, it's pre-appraised. We feel confident about this value. And sometimes, I don't know if I've mentioned this, I know I have in my PC class, Mike's definitely heard it, but when I have an unrealistic seller and they're like, oh, we want to ask this, I'm like, the comps don't support it. I will offer, if they have an appraisal and they have it done prior to listing, if they're willing to list it at or just below the appraised value, I will reimburse them the cost of the appraisal out of my commission when it sells. Listen, that's headache off my mind. And it helps pass the buck to the real people, the appraisers, right? That are doing the valuations. I'm not allowed to do valuations. And so when I have an unrealistic seller, it sounds like a win-win to them. And for me, it gets me at a realistic price that I can then sell. You know, I can then use that as a marketing tool.
That's a good idea.
$500-600 off of a 2.5-3% commission for $750,000-800,000. I'll spend that all day. That's a write-off. It's an expense. Yeah. If that gives me peace of mind and seller's peace of mind, and even if it's on the high side, when you go under contract and the appraiser comes, because you most likely are going to have a loan, right, on your buyer. Woo, I show up with that appraisal in hand, and that appraiser is like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
What do you think is happening here with the number of price reductions compared to last year? Like there's a huge
year.
Number
Yeah.
of price reductions this week is down over the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Down.
think last
So
year we were
imagining
still
600.
just hot and heavy by a seller's market. They were just hanging on for dear life and things were moving.
right.
But there just really wasn't that much. We were still gobbling up what was listed. You know, I really, really wish I had started tracking during COVID when we were all at home and on lockdown and couldn't work. I wish I'd been tracking all this time, but
Would have been interesting.
oh my gosh, that data would have been incredible to have. But I'm stoked that we're past the year mark and we do have some things that we can compare it to. So it'll be fun as we move forward to continue with these talks.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If anybody
Thank
needs
you, you too.
anything, I'll be
Yeah.
around.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.